Hello, I'm Andrew Dyer, and welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting extras of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. Unfortunately, my co-host Monica McNutt is under the weather and couldn't be here tonight, but Monica will return as soon as her schedule permits. We're going to get things started tonight as we're going to highlight the high school basketball scene as it's been a banner year in Potomac for the Bullis School. They recently captured the championships of the ISL on the girls' side and the ISC on the boys' side. And here with us to talk about their outstanding seasons are head coach Rod Hairston and assistant coach Karen Woodard of the Lady Bulldogs and assistant coach Clinton Perrow of the Bullis boys basketball team. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to the Roundball Report.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
And Rod, we had you on before the season, and you were talking about how you had to try to take over the helm and carry a talented team and get them to the next level. And talk about the quest that led you ultimately to capture that ISL championship.
Well, it was definitely a hard road to toe, but the girls took to our coaching, listened, and worked through all the difficulties that we had early in the season. And they came together as a team, as a family. So I think that was the key point to our championship this year.
And Karen, talk about the progression that you saw in the young ladies that were obviously had the talent, but how did you see them mature and develop the competitive level and intestinal fortitude that it took to become champions?
I saw a lot of growth from November through February. Just getting to know the coaching staff, know what we expected of them. Sort of started off a little tentative, getting to know each other. But by the time we hit our stride into the ISL league, I saw that they were trusting what we were doing, and by the end of the year, we were hitting all cylinders, which led us to the championship.
And Rod, of course, you had to defeat your arch rival, Georgetown Visitation, who had beaten you actually during the regular season, but you came back and got them at the last game of the regular season and really dominated in the championship. Were you able to use that first loss as teaching points to get the motivation points to carry it over the threshold?
Well, definitely. Georgetown Visitation is a really good program, and history has shown that they have been the dominant team in ISL. So after the first loss, the kids got even more focused. The players became more focused and more about business. And what I think our coaching staff did was give them the confidence that it took to understand, I don't know about Georgetown Visitation.
Right.
I've never, competed against them until this year. So for me, it was just, they were another team, and I didn't have that same kind of history with Georgetown Visitation, which I think when coaching the girls, coaching them up, it kind of came across like I felt like we had the better talent.
Right.
They were the better team that night, that first game, but I think our team definitely recognized that we had talent that could compete.
Now, Clinton, on the boys' side, this is the third time in the last 5 years we've done this.
Yeah.
And but it's the first time that you guys have gone through the IAC regular season undefeated and postseason undefeated. Talk about what a special accomplishment that was and what a special group of young men this was.
Yeah, coming off of last year, we had such a tremendous year, and at the beginning of the year, it felt different because we had a little bit of a rocky start. And when you win 24 games last year and only lost 3, and then coming off the bat, we were 5-3. It was like, we still had the whole season to go. So the expectations were so high that we didn't know if we could live up to the expectations from last year. But the guys kind of rallied around that fact that, they had big shoes to fill from last year's team. And, they wanted to achieve something that was different from what last year's team did, which was to try to go undefeated in the conference.
And it almost looked at the beginning of the season, the guys had kind of looked past that goal, but in talking to Coach Kelly, he said that there were 2 major points. He said the team really came together on that trip to Florida.
The trip to Florida was a key point of our season when we got to get away from the area, try to bond as a team, and to kind of get to know each other on a more personal level.
And tell the viewers about that tournament.
The tournament, the Orange Bowl Classic was a tremendous tournament that we went down. Some great teams down there, and some great teams have competed down there. we faced the number, I think, 18 team in the country down there, and we beat them in the championship game. But before that, we had beat the Florida State champs for the state of Florida. We had beat them, so it gave us a lot of confidence in coming back and playing in our league that we felt like we could play with just about anybody.
Right, and I'm sure, Rod, you've experienced it where the team may come together, but it takes an out-of-town tournament sometimes, even if you're not successful, but it helps build that camaraderie to get through the tough times of a season.
Definitely. We went to the Diamond State Classic in Delaware, which is a very prestigious girls basketball tournament on the East Coast, and we competed. We lost to Reynoldsburg, which was ranked in the top 25 in the country at the time, and that was without Lene Belton. She was hurt at the time, but I think it did for us is gave us some confidence to let us know that we could compete. The girls competed. We went 1-2 in that Christmas tournament, and we played a Philadelphia team that was pretty good as well. But what it did was it gave us an opportunity to recognize who would step up when necessary, and I think that helped us down the stretch.
And I guess collectively, each of you can talk about the impact that the administration at Bullis has provided for you in terms of providing you with the resources to accomplish your goals while still maintaining to their high academic standards, but also helping to blur, if not obliterate that line between when you're going after the top-notch schools, hey, we're just as competitive as the quote-unquote WCAC, which is the traditionally known powerhouse private school conference in the area. You've played some WCAC teams and more than held your own, and you've done the same. So that's had to help you. There's no longer, they look at the ISL or the IAC as lesser than the WC when you're going out and trying to, not won't say recruit, but trying to encourage folks to come to Bullis to try to matriculate for the high school basketball and high school education.
Well, definitely for me, coming from my experience in the WCAC, which is a great league, as you said, I see the same kind of talent and opportunity at the ISL with the academics being as stellar as they are in the ISL league. I think it's a very competitive league. It can compete, and I hope, and I presented it to the coaches this year at the coaches meeting, that maybe we do a ISL WCAC invitational. So.
That sounds pretty good. And Clinton, of course, I mean, you've been there. You can see the impact that Dr. Borman's leadership has, because not only are you able to compete in the ISL and you're able to compete in the IAC, but you're able to go to top-notch tournaments like the Orange Bowl Classic and the tournament that you went in Delaware and try to expand to a national schedule because you have the support at the administration level.
Yeah, if Dr. Bowman is a tremendous leader of the school, and he shows his support by, in many different ways, not only just being at the games, but, you look up any time, Coach can tell you he might be in the gym watching the practice, or, he might be just being around, but he's an excellent leader, and he gives us all the support that we need to be successful.
And Karen, talk about the unique camaraderie between the two teams, because the girls were playing and the boys weren't. The boys were there and vice versa.
Definitely. That's one thing I noticed about the school in general. There's a lot of support of the students and the athletes from the football team, from the basketball team, lacrosse, baseball. They're all coming in the gym and watching. I think they call it dog pound. And I almost got run over by them, and they stormed the court, and we beat visitation. So I love to see that. Girls' sports, women's sports are very respected at Bullis, and so we love to see that among the boys and girls at school. And
talk about, Rod, if you can, about how some of your seniors and Lene and rising juniors like Lene, the type of college that are interested in the type of talent that you have coming through.
Well, there has been 63 college coaches that have come through our gym this season alone. That have been interested in all of our players from top to bottom. We have Brittany Jackson and Deja Hall that are going to go on to play Division I basketball. Deja at Richmond and Brittany at George Mason. But we have a number of Division I athletes, both student athletes that can compete at the at the higher level, both
Right.
academically and athletically. So you have schools like Stanford, Notre Dame, Connecticut, North Carolina, and the list goes on. Just not for Lene Belton, but for the Kirby Porters and the Raven James and all of those players that we have.
Right, and Clinton, you guys definitely are at the program level because your JV was very dynamic. You're going to lose a senior like Anthony Thompson that's going to Holy Cross, but you're going to have the big 6'10" fella coming back. And I remember I went to see the Gonzaga DC Classic, and JT3 seemed to just be following you guys' schedule.
Yeah, he was lurking around. You know, the big fella has such a high potential, and he's a very good student of the game. He's very coachable, and you know, the sky's the limit. Coach told him one day in practice, he might be the only one in the gym that might be able to actually get paid for doing this. You know, and it's true. You know, and if he puts the work in, like I know that he will, I think the future is very bright for him.
Well, the present and the future is bright for the Bullis basketball programs on the boys and girls side. Congratulate each of you for your respective championships and wish you much success moving forward. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to a break right now. When we come back, we're going to turn the page to college hoops as we discuss the CIAA championship as the Bowie State Bulldogs captured the championship for the first time in 10 years, and we'll recap the week that was for the Washington Wizards and the rest of the league as we speak with Nikki Lewis and Lexter Taylor. So stay with us.